What is going on, guys? This is Platinum Point, and I'm here to bring you guys yet again another Weiss Schwarz deck profile. This one's a pretty old one, an old deck that is of mine. This is ReZero. I decided to run show you guys a not memory snow build since I never went into that set. I felt like that set was not necessary for me. This is pre Frozen Bond. I will update the deck once Frozen Bond comes out, but I just wanted to show you guys what I am currently running in terms of ReZero. So I'm running the book stock soul climax pairing. So this is basically my version of Christian Jarbacher's ReZero deck that he played at the WS Invitational, and pretty much I like this build because it's very strong in the fact that it's a very defensive deck. It builds a lot of resources, it builds a lot of stock, it compresses to the point where you pretty much try to out cancel your opponent and beat them in a war of attrition. So this is what this deck kind of does, and the goal through the deck is to just go through your deck as quickly as go through your first deck as quickly as possible while compressing clean stock, so that when you go into level 2, you can refresh your deck quickly on second deck and get into the 3-2 felt early to reestablish compression with the 3-2 felt and 3-2 rems, and just compressing your deck to the point where you're at a hyper compressed state where you're basically fighting your opponent in a war of attrition. So I'm running 4 of each stock soul and 4 of each book. So kind of that's it for the climax layout. Starting off with the characters, we'll go straight into it. So I know in Jobby's build, he's playing like 2 mill runners. I prefer 4 because I want to see this as often as I can, since it's really good crisis management during first stack, and it's a level that I can easily just put into my level zone, so it's a level 0. I want to kind of keep all my higher level yellows in my hand so I can use them for fodder. So that's why I play 4. Next, I play 4 copies of the Drop Search Ricky. So you need this at 4 because this allows you to go through your deck quickly by getting your Amelias into your hand. So you mainly use this to dig for the Amelia level 1 combo, and you also use it for the ability on attack, mill the top part of your deck, and if it's a climax, draw 1, discard 1. So this, you're basically trying to get through your deck as fast as you can, so this is why you play it as a 4-up, to get the Amelia and to get the mill off. Next, I play 3 copies of the Beatrice Brainstorm and 1 copy of the free play Amelia. The reason why I play this Amelia is actually because I don't have a 4th copy of the Beatrice Salvage Brainstorm. And actually, this is not bad as well, because if you hit a climax and you have the door in hand already, and you're one or 2 of your Amelia level 1s are in the waiting room, you can free play the Amelia. You get to advance summon the Amelia and put a lot of pressure at level 1. So it's actually a pretty decent card to play play in the deck. And the fact that you're having these 2 kind of allows you to keep your hand fresh. Like, you keep on holding your hand, your resources, since you can try to free play with the Amelia as much as you can. And honestly, it's just early advantage. You want to try to get as much early advantage as you can. In this build, I wouldn't play 4 clean cuts, so I actually play 2, because you're not trying to stabilize as often. You want to stabilize at 0 by saving the mill runner, but that's it. Like, you don't need this as often. You don't want to see this as often as you want. You want to see all your milling pieces. Next, I play 2 copies of the Canopy Canopy Piercing Sunlight Rem and Ram. So this is your hand fix. So it's a level 0 reverser, which is nice, but you mainly use it for the actability of discarding a card and sending this to the waiting room to hand fix. So this helps you get the missing pieces that you need. And then that's it for the 0 step. I'm running about 16 zeros. Next, we play 4 copies of the Silver-Haired Beauty Emilia. This is your main deck thinning engine. So this is your on-tack Magudo. So it combos with the book. And when it attacks and you control another magic or weapon character, you get the top 4 check. So this is your main way of going through first deck quickly. You just swing top 4 check and try to add any pieces that you need in order to set up for the next deck. With that reason, I also play 3 copies of a Morning Moment Emilia. This is an on-play Rize for 2, so it's basically the same thing as SEO Survivor, Asuna Kirito, except it doesn't give +1k during your opponent's turn. So you mainly use it for the top 2 check, just to get through your resources. And then lastly, for level 1, I play 1 Puck, since you need this for the 3-2 in order to the 3-2 Emilia. You need to have this in the waiting room, so I only play 1 since it's pretty much a dead card most of the time. And then for the level 2, this is where it gets kind of interesting. So for most of the level 2, I play 3 copies of a Walk in the Yukata Emilia. So this is your anti-change backup, which is a pay 1, send a character on your board to the waiting room to... Is it bottom deck? Yeah, to bottom deck an opponent's character who's higher than their level. So this is a bottom deck early play backup. And I also play another backup, which is the rest counter, but I play it at 3. I know Jobby plays it at 2, but I actually kind of like it at 3 because sometimes I do have to clock one in order to maintain, the color, maintain color if I don't have my runners to clock into. So I wanted to have a yellow that I can easily clock into. And honestly, having 3 is fine because I want to see it as often as I can so I can threaten rest counters. And rest counters is actually pretty damn busted. And then lastly, for the level 2s, I play 2 copies of a Pride of the Slums Felt, which combos with this Climax, the Mistral Maiden. So when this comes into play, if you have 5 or less cards... Yeah, 5 or less cards in deck, you may discard this card, refresh your deck, send all the cards in your waiting room, and this card back into your deck and reshuffle. So this is a free fresh Climax combo. And then you get to play a 3-2 Felt, this 3-2 Felt from the deck, and then add a Felt. Is it Felt, Reinhard, and Rom? So this allows you to kind of... So basically you're researching this with the Climax combo, so that way you can re-loop it if you need to. So that's just the main reason why you play it, and you only play it as a 2 of. I would like to play it as a 3 of, but I'm kind of really tight in room. Next, I play 1 copy of the Level Assist Emilia. It's a 2k level assist, and it also has a nice ability, the nice Brainstorm ability. Pay 1, tap this elf. For every Climax revealed, you can select one of your opponent's characters and they can't stand. So you can actually lock up certain boards and force your opponent to play over certain characters. And then now on to the level 3, I play 1 copy of the trial deck, Light of Love Rem. So this, you basically use this for as your main finisher. Your main finisher, since we do not technically have a formal finisher. So it's an on attack, pay 1, discard a card, mill the top. Let me double check. Top 5 cards and burn equal to the amount of climaxes revealed. So this is just your kind of your main finisher. Your second finisher is this half elf maiden Emilia. So what it does is when you reverse a character, you may pay 1. No, not pay 1. Pay 2, discard a card, and play the level 1 Puck from your waiting room into any part of your front stage. So basically, this gives you a free fourth attacker. So that's 4 instances of damage with this Amelia, which is fine. But now for the main pieces of the level 3, the main bread and butter of the 3-step, which is 3 copies of the Royal Election Candidate Felt. So when she comes into play, either by the Climax combo, she can actually be summoned either by hard casting it or playing it with the Climax combo of the 2/1 Felt. And if you have 3 or more magic characters, magic or weapon, she gains plus 2k, so she becomes a 10/5 during your turn. And when you declare an attack, you can search your deck for a magic or weapon character, put it into your stock, and then you have the option of also pay 2 to select a character on your board, and it gets the on cancel burn 1. So that's pretty good in situations where you want to close the game, but mainly you use this to compress your deck in order to get the dead pieces into stock. You can even what I sometimes do is kick the puck into stock, so I can just leave it in stock and not have to worry about it. And when it's time to kind of try to close the game, I can load up the Amelia to give it the on cancel burn 1, and then try to swing in with the puck, which is really nice. And then lastly, for the level 3s and part 2 of your main level 3 package, which is 4 copies of the blue-haired main Brem, your basic early play heal. If you have 2 or less climaxes, play this, heal, and when it reverses a character, it gains a marker. You put a character from your waiting room into this under as a marker, and for every marker this card has, it gains plus 1k. So this card, you just build a ton of markers, and you build a ton of stock with this, and you're just basically forcing a war of attrition on your opponent. And the idea is when you force the war of attrition until you have enough resources to close the game, then that's when you start to pop off with the felt in terms of its effect. So you're trying to just compress, and then set your board up to a point where you're ready to close the game after you've kind of just slugged it out with your opponent. So once you've slugged it out, you pretty much have many ways to close it, whether it be through this kind of board setup, where you proc all the on cancel burns onto the Rem, and then you try to get the burn off the Rem so you can do multiple instances of damage, which is really nice. So I hope you guys like this quick deck profile. I know I kind of glossed over the names for some of them, but I just want to showcase what this deck is capable of doing pre-Frozen Bond, because I know this deck actually does get a buff with the new finishers and the new support, the Amelia support in Frozen Bond. So I just wanted to showcase this deck before that happens, and hopefully we get a Season 2 so we can see more stuff going into this set. But I hope you guys like this deck profile. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe. Once again, false crack that like button, false crack that notification, and subscribe for more content, guys. Once again, this is Platinum Point, signing out. Stay on point, guys.